countdown to the Grade 1 Hamiltonian is nearing the end, and August 2nd is just a few days away. We kick off our Hambletonian Contenders tour with a stop at the Smedshammer barn as Trond makes his first Hamiltonian appearance since 2018 with his colt Greenma, and also in the Oaks with his filly Walspea. It's the first stop of the 6 trainers with their eyes set on that Hamiltonian trophy. Trond, thank you so much for having us out here at your beautiful farm here this morning. Now let's go back to last week. You got through the eliminations, right? That's all it's about. Now moving on, prepping for this final on Saturday.
Yeah, well, it's just pretty much stay with the routine we've been doing all summer, and everybody was a little bit surprised by Greenma in a good way. I was actually a little bit disappointed in him because I thought he should have won, but he was way too hot. Compared to the way he has been, and he only came home 27, and that's not going to cut it in the final, but he have been able to come home 26. So
now when you talk about keeping the routine that you've kept throughout the summer, we got to take a cruise on the Gator as you jogged Greenma and Walspea behind us. What a cool kind of training center you have here as you took us right through the woods.
Yeah, it's something completely different. It wasn't like I started building this when I was still at White Birch, which is literally across the highway from me here. So it was meant to be a substitute place, for certain horses. But things happen, and I just started scaling down. And this is the second season now. I do it all from here. In the wintertime, I ship over either to Catcham Farm and train with Nifty a little bit, or to Winners, and I train with Ryder. So, but after they get ready to race, this is it. We stay here.
Let's take a trip down memory lane, of course, all the way back to 2004 when you got that Hambletonian victory with Winston's Legacy, who went on to be the Trotter of the Year in 2004 and took the Trotting Triple Crown. What a ride he put you on that year. But let's talk about winning that Hamiltonian in 2004.
Yeah, that was something else. I mean, I can't believe it's 21 years ago already. Time flies, but he was a cool horse, no doubt. He was always the underdog.
Now, going into that week, did you said, this colt's going to get it done for you on Saturday. Did you have high hopes, even though you said he wasn't the favorite, but did you know in your heart that he had a big shot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I knew all year, he was a horse that could get it done because he had gotten it done in a lot of the other big ones. So I knew there was no different in the Hambo. We just needed a little bit of racing luck.
Moving on, let's talk about Greenma, of course, the son of Green Shoe that we have going into the final on Saturday. You said he was a little bit hot on Saturday. What changes you think you're going to need to make going into that final?
I'm going to have to try to get him more manageable. So I'm going to tinker with the bit a little bit to see if it is something that he respects a little bit more because, like I said, they were going along pretty good the second quarter. We got to the half in 55-1, and I was running over Timmy. I had to pull him before the half, and obviously Timmy pulled in front of me. But I actually don't mind if he sits close enough to pull first over with him because he's a little bit like Winston like that. When you pull him off cover, he wants to go somewhere in a hurry. Yeah.
And being here and seeing him up close, he's just a big, tall, strong horse. I think he's got the capabilities of doing it. Now moving on to Walspea in the Oaks. Of course, going back to 2008, you already have an Oaks trophy on the shelf in there, of course, winning it with Creamy Mimi.
Yeah, that's, she's a fast filly. It's not much to her, but she got a great tactical speed. She's got a little bit of a mood to her, like she doesn't always give me a full run. I think she actually likes a smaller track better. At Chester she was unbeatable, but obviously it was different competition. But she's so quick, but she doesn't really like the long stretch and chasing horses at the end up at the Meadowlands.
And you said, you were quoted saying, if this filly would just try a little bit harder for you in a wide open group like we're going into on Saturday, she could have a big shot. Oh,
absolutely. And she still has a shot because, like you said, it is wide open. Without Yo Tilly, it's no standouts there. They all of a sudden they came back down to 52 and appease all 3 eliminations, and she can do that.
Of course, you've driven and trained a lot of your horses in the past, especially now here going down to a smaller stable that you have now. You say, hey, it's so hard to get a driver out there. That's why you consistently just drive your own and, of course, train, and it seems to be the good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind handing over in the big races, which I always used to. You know, Brian Sears drove most of the big races for me back in the days. You know, I drove Winsong Legacy because like I explained to you earlier, he needed to be driven a certain way. I didn't want him on the front end, so you know, I tried it last year, and you just end up a different driver every week. That's the problem.
Confidence going into Saturday. We already know you have a Oaks and a Hembo trophy on the shelf. Have you cleared a little spot? Did you get the dusting spray out and say maybe you'll be looking for a spot to put one there next week after Saturday?
I'm not going to clear the spot in advance, but I'll have no problem finding room for it.
Trond, best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.